Good morning. Hopefully you're having an amazing morning. My name is Shannon and we're going to do an all-level Hatha yoga flow. I have my coffee because it makes me really happy. So I want you to come into a comfortable seated pose. I have blocks, I have a blanket, but sit comfortably. If you have blocks, use them. If you don't have blocks, it's okay. We'll work on, just doing the things that you can do in this class. But I want you to start off today just a little different. A lot of times I'll have you come into a comfortable seated pose and I want you to close your eyes. And right now I want you to look around where you are and just start to see everything. Start to see all the things that maybe you are really appreciative of, the things that you love. Like I really appreciate my coffee in the morning and holding it, and it makes me feel warm and fuzzy and cozy, and that first sip is just delightful. But finding the things in your life that you're really appreciative of. And sometimes when we focus on the things that we are so appreciative, that we find things that we're grateful for. There was this movie, back in the 60s called The Blob. And the idea of the blob was that basically it got on you and then all of a sudden it just coated your whole body. But I kind of think of gratitude like that, in that when you find something that you really are just so appreciative and love, then it coats your whole being and you don't focus on the things that irritate you as much. Your day just goes better. Everything is just brighter. Through this experience, we're going to come out of it very differently. And some of us are going to come out of it enlightened and lovely and amazing. And some of us are going to hold on to the frustration of all the little inconveniences. I know that everything is going to be okay. But this is what is going to make the difference for everybody. How I look at something is going to make the difference for everything. And so I want you to just take a moment or two and look around at the things in your life that you are really grateful for. And maybe just, look and see, and if you want to close your eyes and think about the things that maybe aren't around you right now that you're grateful for, do that. All right, I'll put my coffee aside. And then just come into a comfortable seated pose. Take a nice deep inhale through your lungs and just feel how good it feels to be able to breathe in like that. And just take a few nice deep inhales in and out of your body. Maybe put a little smile on your face. Maybe set an intent for today to notice more of all the amazing things that are in your life. If you think of them, I'd love you to post them, share in the comment section of this, all the things that you're utterly grateful for. I went to the store yesterday, and at first when I would go into the store, I was kind of anxious because I just wanted to kind of get in and out, and I still wanted to get in and out, but I was kind of freaked out that there wasn't the selection that I was used to. And yesterday I went, and there were things that weren't available and things that were empty, but everything that was available, I was just so grateful for, and it gave me a different perspective that, wow, that I can go to a grocery store and buy what I want, and I don't have to find it or make it or, shoot it or, de-feather it. It's kind of amazing at what we have in our life, and we can be so grateful for it. And sometimes having it taken away from us for just a moment makes us even more grateful. I scored some toilet paper and I felt like I won the lottery. There are little things like that we lose sight of and take for granted. So maybe your intent today is notice all the things in your life that just make you so joyous, and that we maybe have taken for granted, and now we're not. We have a whole new level of appreciation. And then when you're ready, you can extend your legs, and I just want you to stretch your feet back and forth a little bit. We're going to work into the toes first. So I'm going to have you take your fingers, and you're going to take one finger in between each and every toe. I'm going to take my ring off. So I'm going to take one finger in between each toe, and try to see if you can get your fingers to fit all through your toes. Now this is a good thing to do on a regular basis because our toes have a tendency to kind of compress in. And I just want you to kind of move your foot around. So you're rolling your wrist when you do this, and you're gonna kind of roll out your foot. And I want you to move it both directions and kind of like in a little bit of a figure 8 if you can. One direction's a little harder than the other. And then squeeze your toes, squeeze them together into your fingers, and just squeeze and squeeze. Now I want you to take your fingers out and just massage your foot. Massage to the tops of your toes. Massage the top of your foot. Mine's dry. And massage the bottom of your foot. Need to give my feet some love. Massage into your ankles and just get some movement going through these little joints. If we're not using our feet as much, not walking around as much, then we really need to keep everything flowing really well. And I'm going to shake out my right leg, right foot, and then I'm going to do the same on the left. So I'm going to take the fingers through. And if you can't get your fingers all the way through, don't worry about it. It's not that you won't ever be able to get them through. It's just that maybe they're a little stuck. It's kind of like a door that you got to kind of work out. It's almost like you put a little WD-40 in it, you work it out, and then all of a sudden it starts to unwind a little bit. Once you do this, I just want you to, again, kind of figure 8 or circle the foot. And go the other direction. And then squeeze your toes into your fingers. So kind of squeezing in. And then release. And then just take your hand out and start massaging into the toes, into the top of the foot, the bottom of the foot, the arch, getting some love into your feet. Some of us get pedicures. I'm not somebody that has, unfortunately, a lot of time to get pedicures and work into the ankles. But if you're not getting pedicures, maybe give yourself a pedicure today. Maybe give yourself a foot bath today. Some love today. All right, and then just roll or wiggle the toes on the left foot. All right, so we're gonna work out into the wrists. So all the little parts of our body, I want you to take your hands together. You're gonna bring that left hand over the right. So the fingernails are facing in towards each other. Then just grab your hands like you're saying hi and flip them. So your palms come together, interlock your fingers. Thumbs come towards your chest, and then see, can you start to extend the arms forward a little bit? Now, if the arms don't straighten, don't worry about it. They might bend, and you might just keep them in like this. If you're able, you're gonna press out a little bit. Maybe lift the arms up. This is a really good way to stretch out the wrists. And just a few little pulses for 3, 2, 1. Bring the elbows down, bring the heart in. And I just want you to inhale through the nose. Exhale, sigh it out. Inhale. Exhale. Last one, inhale. Exhale. Release your hands, shake them out. All right, other side, same thing. So this time, right hand comes over and nails touch each other, hands find each other, interlock. Press your thumbs towards your heart and extend your arms forward. Now I can tell a difference after not doing as much yoga as I normally do, that my wrists are really tight. So I'm feeling this today. And just maybe find these little pulses up, 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 up. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the hands in. Hold here. We'll find those 3 deep breaths. Close your eyes. Inhale. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale. Exhale. Last one, inhale. Exhale. Nice, release. Bring the thumbs together, fingers all touch. And I just want you to push your thumbs right to your third eye. And squeeze your fingers in towards each other. And kind of push your hands away. Now breathe in through your nose. Out through your mouth. 2 more, inhale. Exhale. Last one, inhale. And then exhale. And I want you to take your fingers like you're clawing on your forehead. And then anything that's stuck in your mind, anything that has been negative, I just want you to pull it apart and then just fling it away from you. All right. Take your chin in towards your chest. Reach your ear over towards the right side. Bring your chin back to your chest and then reach over towards the left. And back into the center. Over towards the right. Back into the center. Over towards the left. I'm going to bring it back into the center. Lift the gaze up. Bring the arms forward, so interlock the hands. Keep the hands where they are. Slight bend in the elbows. Gaze over towards the right side. Inhale, center, and then exhale over towards the left side. Try to bend the elbows and keep the hands forward. Inhale, center. Exhale, chin towards the right side. Inhale, center. Exhale, chin towards the left side. Inhale, center. Keep the elbows bent, reach the arms overhead. Lift the arms up a little bit, but keep the shoulders pressing away from the ears. Reach the arms over towards the right side and try to press the left hip down. And if you can, maybe start straightening out the arms just a little bit more. I'm going to keep this right elbow bent a little bit more than the left. Inhale, center, bend the elbows. Exhale, over this time towards the left side. Pull the arms so the arms are back a little bit. Push your right hip down. And then see, can you straighten out your right arm just a little bit more? Inhale, center, take the arms down. Beach ball arms, so kind of like you're holding a beach ball. So I'm going to bring the arms over and then try to keep the gaze forward. So bring the arms as far to the right as you can and really pull with that right elbow. Inhale, come back to the center, and then exhale, and just again, the fingers are interlocked, my thumbs are kind of loose, and I'm pulling my left elbow over. I'm trying to keep my chest forward. Inhale, center. Exhale, over towards the right side, pull the right arm back. Inhale, center. Exhale, over towards the left, and just moving into the space that we're kind of creating in the body. Inhale, center. Arms come up, beach ball arms. Reach your arms over towards the right side. This time, see if you press your palms together and find what it's called Kali Mudra. So it looks like kind of love gun. So reach your love gun over towards the right side. Maybe straighten out the arms a little bit more. Keep pushing the left hip down. So we don't want to lean over in that direction. We want to really think about pushing the left hip, left knee. Inhale, center, beach ball arms. Exhale, over towards the left. Soften here, push your right hip down. As you're doing this, you're going to start to straighten out. Thumb and index finger find each other. The other fingers are all interlocked. And then just keep pressing that right hip down. Inhale, center. And exhale, this time take the hands down and move your head a little side to side. Kind of like you're trying to lift your ear up towards the ceiling. Now circle the head, and you'll notice when I circle, a lot of times I see students do this, and the neck kind of does this back here. This is really hard, and it compresses the neck, makes the shoulders rise up. So you'll notice as my head comes back, my chest is going to push in opposition a little forward. And so you can move the upper body and try to keep the shoulders pressed down, even sometimes sitting on the hands. And then go the other direction. And this gives the neck a really nice stretch where I haven't compressed into anything. One more. Awesome. Reach the arms forward. We're going to bring that left arm over the right. So left arm comes over the right. Dog is very animated today. Left arm comes over the right. Right arm comes over, and I want you to think about giving yourself a hug. Now as you do this, grab onto the backs of your shoulder blades and pull your elbows down. Take your chin towards that space right between where the arms are meeting, and just try to tuck your chin there. Now lower down as much as you can. Draw your belly button towards the lower part of your spine. And hold here for a breath. Now on your inhale, come up and reach your arms up like you're taking your shirt off, and just reach the arms out to the side. And this time the right arm comes over, left arm comes under. Hug the arms in and pull the shoulder blades a little bit apart. Press the elbows down, chin tucks through, so the crown of the head is reaching forward. Lower down, belly button pulls in towards your spine. Try to root your tailbone back a little bit. On your inhale, lift up and reach the arms up as high as you can. And then just reach the arms up and kind of open up here. Maybe the palms come together. And we'll just circle 2 more times, finding the range that feels good in your shoulders. Last one. And this time come down and reach the arms out. Inhale. and exhale. Inhale, really opening the backs of the shoulders as you do this. So kind of make this animated. Last one. Nice. Now, as you move the shoulders in that a lot, you're going to notice that tightens the neck back up. So chin towards the chest, roll the head out, and just find a couple of rolls. And then go the other direction. Nice. We'll come up onto hands and knees for cat-cow. And my objective today is really just to make every little area in your body that might have been tight loosen. Okay, so pressing your middle finger so it faces forward towards the front of your mat. Round your back a little bit, and I want you to start from the lower back. Think about if you're curling from the lower back, and each vertebra can't work until the vertebra under it works. So from the lower, I'm going to pull the belly in, I'm going to tuck the tailbone. I'm going to ride the energy up to the mid-back, then up through the upper back. Press the head through so the top of the neck starts to work here. Now shift some of the weight forward so the wrists and shoulders align. Now as I take the gaze, think about working from the upper. The chest comes down, the ribs come down, the belly comes down, the tailbone extends, and I'm going to pull my heart forward. Now from the lower, curl and tuck the tailbone. Ride up the energy of the spine. Pull to the upper back. Press the arms into the earth, chin in towards the chest, and squeeze your arm bones towards your thighs. Now, slowly from the neck, stretch or roll down the chest, the ribs, the belly button, tailbone roots back, and this time curl your toes. So curl your toes and think about pulling your shoulder blades towards your bottom. Now pull your bottom towards your heels. Pull your chest forward and pull your arm bones towards your thighs. So I'm working the energy. Everything is working here towards the center. So the arms are pulling towards the legs, and pull everything in. And keep pulling, and keep pulling. Almost like you're shortening your mat. Gaze up a little bit, and then when you're ready, from the lower, tuck the tailbone under first, and roll it up. Exhale, blow it out. Now, as you think about leaning back, lean forward a little into the wrists, and then pull your head through your arms. Pull your thighs towards your arms, draw your belly button towards your spine, and lengthen the arm bones as much as you can. Pull your shoulders out to the side, and then just coming into neutral. We'll bring it down to the forearms. So bring it down to your forearms. If you have blocks, I want you to grab onto your blocks. So we're going to come into, and I'm going to place my hands right on the blocks. So the forearms are going to come and the hands are going to come right down. And keep your bottom like this, uncurl your toes. Think about pressing back. So we're coming into not a down child's pose. You can see my body isn't down. My wrists are going to be on the front of the blocks. And I want to just lead my chest down a little bit more. So push your chest down. Maybe the crown of the head comes down. Maybe the chin comes down. That's going to be a little bit more challenging. Stretch your fingers forward. Pull your tailbone back, draw your belly button in. And keep pulling your bottom towards the back of the mat. So you're stretching the arms. On your inhale, slowly come up. Press the forearms, face the palms in towards each other. And then round your back, pull your head through. On your inhale, gaze forward. Palms are going to stay where they are. And this time, I can stretch the arms back. So the wrists are going to come on the blocks. Push the arms down a little bit. Keep the thumbs so the thumbs are facing up towards the ceiling. And just notice how this feels in the shoulders. On your inhale, work yourself up, and this time, just press your hands to the blocks. I'm going to move my knees a little bit more forward, and I'm going to bring my elbows on top of the blocks. You can curl your toes when you do this. Palms come together in prayer. Press back. So my elbows are on the blocks. If the elbows start to slide up, just keep the elbows in the center of the blocks. Maybe the head comes down. Now for some of you that are really flexible, if you're not feeling a lot, you can turn the blocks up a little bit. The only problem with that is if you're not as stable, the blocks have a tendency to kind of knock off. So just keep your elbow right in the center of the blocks and give your head a little bit of room. This is a tricep stretch. So it's going to stretch the backs of my arms. I'm going to work on pressing my head down, and then the thumbs are going to come towards the center of the back. Now, if you're able to uncurl the toes and press the bottom back, you can do that. Adjust the blocks as you need to and get just a comfortable stretch for your body. Stay here a breath. When you're ready, bring your palms up, push to your elbows, and move your blocks out of the way. So we're not going to use those blocks for just a little bit. I'm going to take myself down into a comfortable child's pose. Walk your fingers forward, tense your wrists. Pull your thumb and your fingers towards each other. So this is a great way to keep the wrists strong. When you're ready, walk your hands over towards the right side. Pull your rib cage to the left. And keep walking the hands to the right as you pull the left hip over to the left side. Maybe one more. Exhale as you're walking and twisting. Inhale as you're settling. I'm going to come back to the center. Stretch the arms forward, stretch out both sides of your body. Tense your fingers, squeeze your thumb and your fingers towards each other. And this time, walk the hands over towards the left side. Pull your right hip over towards the right. And I'm going to keep walking to the left as I'm pulling my hips and my ribs to the right. One more. Walking over. Inhale, lifting up a little bit, and then exhale, just settling down. When you're ready, coming back to the center, rippling yourself up. Kind of finding your tabletop. Knees are going to come a little closer together. We're going to work out the hip. So I'm going to stretch the right leg out, and I want you to take your right toes back. Push into your toes. Push your heel back like you're trying to bring your heel down to the ground. Now make sure your wrists and your shoulders align. Round your back a little bit. And if you round enough, you might lift that left knee just off the ground. If it doesn't lift, don't worry about it. Just lighten the pressure on the knee if you can. So it might just hover. It might barely be there. But I want you to keep pushing the right heel back. When you're ready, relax that leg. We'll stretch out the other side. So left toes come to the mat, and then think about pressing your left heel down towards the earth. Now I'm rounding my back a little bit, hugging the eyes of the elbows in towards each other, and I might press enough where that knee really just easily lifts up. Keep pressing the heel back. And when you're doing this, you might even be able to lift your toes. So the ball of the foot is what's down. Staying here for 3, and 2, and 1. Releasing the knees, releasing the feet. Cross the right knee over the left, and you're going to lower back down into a child's pose. So just kind of get yourself as small as you can. If you're able, walk your hands in a little bit more. Bring the forearms down and round your back, nose towards knee. Now if you can bring your forehead towards your knee, do that. Inhale. Walk it back through and bring those knees so the knees are an inch or so apart. Left knee is going to come over the right. And walk yourself back. Just see what's available. Forearms might come down. As you're here, round your back a little bit, and maybe the nose touches the knee. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. Keep sinking back as far as you can. Maybe the forehead touches the knee. And just see what's available for your body. Draw your belly button towards your spine. Hollow out the front of your body. On your inhale, walk yourself forward. Find your tabletop. Unfurl your legs. Right leg comes back. Big toe is going to stay touching down. So I want you to think about gaining length in the back of the leg and then draw the right hip so it comes down. Now undo the toes and make sure the pinky toe is down as well. So gazing forward, lengthening the arms, slight round in the lower back, draw the belly button in towards the spine, and then see if you can just lift that right leg without changing the shape of the body or the hips. Staying here. If you're here, see if you can tent the fingers on the left side and walk the left fingers forward a little bit. If that's enough, stay there. If you're able, I want you to reach that left arm forward and pull your thumb forward. So my hand isn't over. I'm kind of allowing the shoulder blade to rotate out so the thumb is facing up. Pinky toe is down. So that pinky toe is facing over the mat. Stretch your big toe and your pinky toe back as you're stretching your left arm forward. Stay here for 3. And 2. And 1. Release. Draw that right knee down. Round your back and walk yourself in, forearms down. Forehead might touch the knees. Gazing forward. Take the hands forward. Round your back a little bit. And then I want you to stretch the left toes back. Undo the left toes so the big toe is down. Round the back just a little bit. Eyes at the elbows face in towards each other. So my elbows are facing out towards the side, and that's going to open my shoulders a little bit. Now, make sure your pinky toe is touching down. Hug your belly button in. Gaze forward. Walk your right fingertips forward. See if you can find stability on the left arm. And if you can, start to reach the left leg back. Not changing the shape of the ribs or the hips. Press through the right hip a little bit. And then see, can I reach that right arm forward? Thumb is facing up towards the ceiling. Stretch the left leg back in opposition. Pull the right shoulder back. So the right shoulder is pulling back, and that left hip is actually pulling towards the right shoulder. So kind of squeezing the left hip in towards the right shoulder, even though there's this cross section. They're squeezing in towards each other, hugging in, staying here for 3. And 2. And 1. Dropping the right arm, dropping the left knee, round your back. And this time, see, can you curl the toes, walk it in a little bit. And as I walk it in, round your back, get as small as you can. Maybe the crown of the head comes to the ground. When you're ready, bring your hands down. Curl your toes, separate your knees just a little bit. Lift your knees, press away from you. Bring the heels down to the earth, find downward facing. If downward facing is not in your practice, I just want you to play with this. Maybe find a puppy pose. Scissor your knees a little side to side. When you're ready, separate your feet just a little bit wider and try to bring your toes towards your wrists. If you can't get any further, walk your hands in towards your feet, bend your knees, ribs touch thighs. As much as you can, this is going to protect my back and give me a lot of decompression on my lower back. Hands to the elbows. Walk your arms forward. Take that down. And allow yourself to relax here. Bring your big toes. So the big toes are pressing into the earth. And just feel the pressure of the big toes. Notice how that kicks on the inner thighs. And just stay here for a few moments. Allow yourself to sway back and forth. If this is too much, elbows towards knees. So this is always an option. And I can give myself a lot of decompression here. When you're ready, hands towards shins, gaze forward, halfway lift. Draw your belly button in. Exhale, bend your knees. Find your fold. Inhale, it's kind of like you're unfolding something. And then exhale, fold it back up. This time I bring your hands above the knees, and I just want you to roll it up. Press into your big toes as you come up. Ribs stack right over hips. Shoulders stack over ribs. Reach the arms up, press into the big toes and push to the outer edges of your feet. Exhale, take your hands to your heart, thumbs pressed to your chest. Walk your feet a little closer together. Nice. Inhale, reach and extend. Tuck your tailbone just a little bit, shoulders drop. Exhale, find a fold. If you need to bend those knees, bend your knees. If you're able, I want you to take your peace sign fingers, you're gonna grab onto your big toes. Inhale, lengthen your body, gaze forward a little bit, and then exhale. And again, it might look like this, where your elbows or your knees are bent, and your elbows can be out to the side. If you're able, straighten out your legs, but when you're straightening out, I want you to think about the inside of your thighs kind of pressing out. So this is going to open your hips, kind of like a door. And you'll notice when you do this, your heels are not going to move, but your heels look like they're pushing away from each other. Big toes are still stable, pinky toes are stable. So these other three toes really aren't doing a lot other than not touching each other. So kind of make it a game. Press the inner thighs out, throw your belly button in towards your spine, and see if you can get your shoulders a little heavier so the forearms are gonna almost touch the ground eventually. Take hands towards shins, gaze forward halfway, pull the belly button in. Exhale, bow into it. Inhale, think about lengthening. Exhale, fold. One more time. Inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, fold. Bend your knees. Take your hands to the tops of the knees. And just like we did with our cat pose, I want you to curl from the lower tailbone. Tuck the tailbone in. Bring that vertebra over that other vertebra. And just keep walking the vertebra up. Ribs come up. Right up through the tops of the shoulders. Arms extend. And exhale, take your hands to your heart. Inhale, last one. Reach the arms up, shoulders drop back. Exhale, bow and fold. Try to hinge at the hips. This time we're going to bend the knees. Maybe the hands come underneath. So I'm going to give you two options here. You bring your feet out a little wider so you have a stronger foundation. So if this is really easy, I want you to see about doing the other option. If this is really a struggle and you're just here, that's okay. So wherever you are, if you're not able to come down this far, that's okay too. So just be aware that you're where you are today until you're not. And then you'll be someplace else. So it's okay if I can't do something today. If this is easier, try to squeeze and press your toes into your wrist, give yourself a massage. If this is just not challenging for you at all, take your hands the other direction. So the palms are facing down, thumbs face out. And as I do this, I'm going to straighten up my legs for a moment and then exhale. And I want you to kind of pull your elbows in towards your shins. And you can straighten and just pressing in so the hands come around the wrists, around the feet. When you're ready, bend the knees. Remove your hands one at a time. Exhale, let everything hang. Let's vertebra up. So inhale, super slow like a ragdoll. Chin in towards your chest. Come up for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. You reach and extend the arms up. Exhale, take your hands to your heart, thumbs pressed to your chest. Nice. All right, so hopefully you should feel really good right now. Everything's feeling very loose. I know I am. So we're going to grab onto our blocks. And we're going to do our sun salutation, our hatha sun salutations. These mix in our chair postures. We're going to stretch into the hips. We're going to come down onto the knees. There are going to be things that you can do, things that you cannot do. Really important when we do this is to keep the knee right over the ankle. So this is why it's so important that my toes frame or are inside my blocks. So I'm going to bring the big toes to touch. If they don't touch, that's okay. Let's inhale, reach and extend the arms up. Find a strong standing pose. Exhale, hands to the heart, thumbs pressed to the chest. Cross the thumbs, they look like butterflies. And then bend your knees, scoop your bottom back, and bring your hands down. And you're going to notice my knees are pretty far back. Inhale, lift up, chair pose. Hold here for a moment, sink down a little bit more, and push your weight back into your heels. Take your hands to your heart. Let's dive forward. Tailbone lift, head comes down. Inhale, lengthen, gaze forward. Exhale, bend your knees. Step your right foot back. So right foot back, right knee comes to the earth. Make sure the left knee is right over the ankle. This is really important. A lot of times we have or end up with a lot of knee issues because we're not using the good ergonomics of the body. This knee is protected by it being in this solid unit. If the knee goes forward, it doesn't have a lot of protection. And so I want to keep and protect my knees. Now, to make it easier, the blocks would actually come up a little bit higher so my body lifts. Now you can also make this more challenging. Uncurl the back toes, push the right hip forward, lift the chest, pull the shoulders back. So again, I'm pulling my shoulders back towards my bottom. And I'm lifting the heart as I do this and kind of let the right hip just sag down. If it has a weight to it, let it kind of pull down to the earth and relax the rest of your body. Maybe even bring your left elbow towards your knee and see, can this right hip sink down just a little bit more? We're going to find a half split. So I'm going to straighten out my left leg. Now I want you to keep the leg straight. Now you're going to notice I'm going to try to press the big toe and the pinky toe down. This is going to force an arch. And a lot of us lose our arches. Now try not to lean over to the left side and actually push the big toe in so the knee is gravitating a little bit more towards the right. Bow into it if you can and pull the left hip back. So I'm trying to keep the toes down, even if I have to give them a little bit of assistance. So, and with this leg I do, so I'm going to stretch my toes forward. So I'm going to force anything that's going on with this arch to kind of loosen up here for a moment. Keep pulling the left hip back and pull your right hip slightly forward. When you're ready, coming up, release the heel, press the heel forward, and now just work into the back of the hamstring. So one is going to work the arch a little bit more. You're going to feel it in different places. You can even kind of, what I always refer to as wag your tail. So wag your tail, little side to side. And bow forward if you can. On your inhale, press into your leg. And again, you're going to see this knee aligned with the ankle. And this is going to be really important. I'm going to take my blocks back where they were. And I'm going to straighten out my back right leg by pushing my heel back. I'm going to give a little hop forward. And I want you to just move a little forward and back. Kind of getting movement. Make sure that left big toe is down. Walk the blocks a little bit more forward and slowly step to the front of the mat. And as you slowly step, bring the right foot next to the left as softly as you can. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, come back into Utkatasana. Knees might come together, reach and extend the arms out. Exhale, we're going to take that right elbow over towards the left side. So we're going to find a little twist here. Inhale, lengthen. And then exhale. See if you can bring the thumbs so the thumbs touch right into the center of the chest. On your inhale, sweep and extend the arms up. And then exhale, hands by the heart, thumbs pressed to the chest. Nice. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Thumbs press, or cross the thumbs, bend your knees, swoop down, maybe touch, inhale, find chair. Hold here for a moment. Sink back a little bit, heels away. Hands are gonna come to the heart. Exhale, dive forward. Tailbone left, head comes down. Inhale, lengthen, gaze forward. Exhale, bend your knees. Step your left foot back. Left knee comes to the ground. Uncurl the back toes. Make sure the right knee and ankle align. Maybe take those blocks up a little bit more. So you can always pull your hip back if you're feeling too much in the hip. If you're not, guide your left hip forward and try to think about your left hip almost having like a chain attached to it, and it's pulling down into the earth. Maybe drawing the shoulders back and making sure the left big toe is down. That's gonna guide that left hip a little bit more in towards the right hip. So we're always pulling into the middle of the body, or what's called the midline. Shoulders are back, lift the heart, lift the chest, and allow yourself to just kind of weight the hips. So the hips have weights on them, and they're pulling a little deeper down in towards the ground. You're going to come into that half split pose. We're going to keep the toes down first, so straighten out the legs. I'm not moving anything back when I do this, and I'm going to try to press the big toe down. Now again, I don't want to roll to the outer right edge. I want to keep the big toe really anchored. And I'm trying to push the left pinky toe down and separate all my other toes. Bow forward into it. And pull your right hip back. Pull your left hip forward. And try to get your ribs down towards your thighs. So there's a lot of things working here. I'm lifting the arches, leading the chest forward, pulling the shoulder blades back. Stay here another breath. On your inhale, come up. And when you do this, guide your heel forward, maybe slide the heel forward a little bit more. And I'm gonna lower down. Now again, as I do this, I'm gonna wanna pull this right hip back and pull the left hip in. So I'm squeezing the hips together, maybe moving or wagging your tail just a little bit. And then bow into it. Try to bring the toes up. So the toes are trying to touch the forehead. Forehead's trying to touch the toes. When you're ready, pressing into that right leg, take your blocks down to that lower level. You're gonna uncurl the back left toes, straighten out so the knee comes up, and then just give a little hop so it makes it a little easier. Move and bend into the knees. Ground into the left and the right big toe. So that's going to keep everything hugging into the midline. It's also going to ensure that my knee doesn't kind of go out to the side. When you're ready, walk the blocks forward a little bit and then slowly shift yourself down. Bring that left foot softly to the earth next to the right. Exhale, bow. And just allow yourself to stay here for a moment. Move your hips a little side to side. Bend your knees if you need to. We're going to find our chair pose, so bend your knees. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Utkatasana, little tuck with that tailbone. Take the hands to the heart, thumbs press to the chest. Inhale, lengthen the chest, and then exhale, bring that left elbow over. We're going to do that again. So lengthen the ribs, and then thumbs press to the chest. Exhale. Keep gazing up towards the ceiling. Draw the belly button in. I'm pressing into the big toes, and I'm trying to spread all my toes out. Heels are slightly apart. Stay here one more breath. On your inhale, sweep and extend your arms up, and then exhale, hands to your heart, thumbs pressed to your chest. Stay here for a moment. Notice how the body feels. Nice. All right, so we're going to start off in wide angle. I'm going to take the blocks, so one is within grabbing distance on each side of my mat. We're going to start with the right side first. So my legs are out a little bit wider than hip distance. Right toes are going to face over towards the right side. And you're going to want your ankles to align. So having your ankles at the back of the mat is a really good thing. Take your hands to your hips. Lift your chest And then draw your left hip out over towards the left side. Think about guiding yourself over. And I want you to think about, again, lifting those arches, just like we did. So lifting the arches, this is going to lift the kneecap, soft bend in the knee, so really soft bend. So I'm never locking out my knees, but I'm not bending the knees. I'm opening the hips, reach and extend the arms down. Think about that left arm coming out, Trikonasana. And just open your hip. You can even take your left hand to your left hip and move that left hip back a little bit. Maybe gazing up and rotate so your left shoulder is pulling back a little. Now on your inhale, slowly bring it back to the center. Take your hands down. I'm going to hop this back leg. So I'm going to bend this front knee, and I'm going to hop this leg over a little bit. Now I'm going to rotate myself forward. I want you to turn your left toes so they're facing in a little bit. We're going to find what's called a revolved triangle. And so my block is in a really good place for that. I'm going to turn my hips forward, and I'm going to bow forward over that left leg. And this is where I can grab onto that block, and I can place my hand on the block. Now rotate and squeeze your left thigh in towards your right, and then just bring and extend your arm up. Reaching the arm up. Lift the arm. When you're ready, bring your right hand back down to your hip, gaze down towards the ground. Inhale, coming back to the center, and take your toes in. So I'm going to realign myself back into feet forward, a little wider than hip distance, so you're going to have that wide angle. I'm going to bring this time the left toes facing over towards the left side, hands to your hips. Think about pushing your hip out. So you're going to push it over to the right side, lean into that left side. And bring that shoulder down. Start to open your heart, open your chest, and then maybe the left hand comes down towards the shin. Think about and extending that right arm up. And as I do this, don't worry how far down the hand is. This is kind of a misnomer. I think I have to touch the ground, and I lose sight of what the purpose is. So I want to open the hips a little bit. I want to rotate the ribs so the ribs are eventually almost facing up towards the ceiling. Soft bend in the knees, lift the arches, and keep reaching the arms out, squeezing the inner thighs. When you're ready, use your right arm. Inhale, pull yourself back. Now I'm going to bend this back knee, and I'm just going to hop this leg out a little bit. I'm going to turn my body, and then I'm going to turn my toes so my hip faces over towards the left side. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. Think about lifting your heart, lifting your chest, and then pulling your bottom away from your ribs. Ribs are going to come forward. And now, this left hand, or right hand, is going to come down towards this block. I'm going to keep and square my ribs over the mat, and then start to turn your ribs towards the back as you squeeze both thighs together. And this time that left arm is going to come up towards the sky. Draw your shoulder blades back and gaze up towards that left arm. And keep squeezing the inner thighs towards each other. Lifting the arches, which is going to lift the kneecaps. It's also going to lift the Mula Bandha, or your pelvic floor. When you're ready, bring your left hand back. Rotate yourself so you're facing back towards your block. On your inhale, come back to the center and turn the toes so they're both facing back towards the long edge of your mat. And bring your heels back to the back. Take your hands to your hips, so let's lengthen the body. Reach and extend the arms out. Exhale, fold forward. We're going to bring the hands down towards the ground. If they don't touch, you probably have those blocks pretty close to you. I want you to use the blocks and kind of pull yourself down. If you need to bend the knees, totally okay. Bend your knees, get your ribs through, and maybe start to press through. Now, if your hands are down really easy, I want you to turn your palms around and walk your hands underneath, and eventually they're going to be in this 90 degrees, so it's going to kind of look like this. So pull your elbows back, and here I'll show you from the side too. So you're going to pull your elbows back, ribs come through. So keep pulling in, and again, this is where those inner thighs are going to spiral out, root into your big toes, but think about lifting your arches. So as I lift my arch, my big toes are down, pads of the feet are kind of pressing into the earth, and pull yourself through. If you're through enough, gaze up towards the ceiling. Try to draw the shoulders away from the ears and hug the belly button towards the spine. Stay here 3, and 2, and 1. Walk yourself forward. So I'm going to take either the hands to the blocks, or I'm going to keep the hands down. Right arm is going to stay down. Eye of the elbow faces over towards the left side. Left arm comes up. Maybe that left arm softly comes behind the back. And just see what's available. Pull your inner thighs towards each other and square your hips as much as you can. When you're ready, bring that left arm up. Exhale, lower. Lift and inhale the right arm. Maybe the right arm softly comes behind the back. Open the shoulders, open the chest. Squeeze the inner thighs. And when you're ready, releasing that right arm, lowering down, and let the whole body just hang down. Softly bend into the knees. If your head touches, you can move the feet in a little closer, but just kind of moving the body a little side to side. When you're ready, hands towards shins. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, bend and bow. And this time, roll it up a vertebra at a time, super slow, feeling everything, reaching the arms up. And take your hands to your heart, thumbs pressed to your chest, and start to walk your feet in a little bit. Heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, until the big toes touch. All right, so if you have a block, I want you to use your block. We're going to find what's called Garudasana. Garudasana, we're going to use, Garudasana is a balance pose. It's our eagle pose. So really, you can do this with a block, you can do this without a block, but a really good place to start is just in chair. So we're going to kind of bend our knees. Now, I'm going to stabilize on my left leg, and I'm going to take my right leg over. And as I do this, I want you to think about when you're trying to not go to the bathroom and you're trying to hold yourself, or you've seen your kids do this and they're kind of bouncing up and down, or you remember your kids doing this. So squeeze in here, and you can just press the right toes down. Now I'm going to take my left arm on top, right arm comes underneath, and the elbows are going to cross. If the elbows don't cross, you can just bring your hands in. So try to bring your left arm on top and grab on. If you're able to get your hands together, bring your hands together and kind of pull them towards the right side a little bit. So squeeze your legs together. Lift your heart a little bit. So think about lengthening and pulling the chin slightly up, not the head back. So the whole, let's say the ears. So pull your ears up a little bit more, pull your belly in, and see if you can flex your right foot. Push your weight back into your left heel and your left big toe. Maybe the foot wraps all the way around. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. Squeeze into your thighs and just hold here. And you're kind of pulling everything in towards the center and just staying here for 3, and 2, and 1. Slowly release coming out of your pose. Now, if you don't have blocks, you can do the same thing and just bring your toes down. You never have to lift this foot. When you're feeling you can, just flex the foot. And that toe will come right off, and you can start really slow on that. So we're going to do the other side, same thing. So I'm going to take the block over to the right side. Now I'm going to stabilize on the right leg. I'm going to find this soft bend. If you have bad knees, be sure to push into the back of your heels, not forward into your toes. So start to take the left foot around and just stay there. Find stability there first. Now, see if you can get down a little bit more and kind of squeeze in. You're gonna lift your ribs up a little bit, little tiny tuck in the tailbone. Think about the ears getting really long. Now I'm gonna bring the right arm on top, left arm comes underneath, and again, you have that option for the shoulders. So hands might come together, draw the belly in, lift up. Think about getting really strong in that right leg. Right big toe is pressing down. Pull the arms a little bit more towards the left and see, can you flex the left foot? Now if you flex the left foot, maybe just stay there, or see, can I wrap the foot around? Sink down as low as you can. And keep sinking. Draw the belly in. Pushing into the right big toe. Holding here for 5. And 4. 3. 2. And 1. Slowly release. Nice job. And I know those are really challenging. So we're going to come down into our yogi squat. You guys are almost done. Taking the blocks in. If you need the blocks to work on your squat, you can. This is always an option. You can do a squat from here. Try to bring the legs out. If you're able to take yourself into an actual squat, start to bring yourself down. Knees are going to face out. And again, I don't want the knees to face forward too much. So I want you to put more weight back. It's hard if your heels are up, because then we're kind of shifting all of our weight forward. So grab onto that blanket, and if you can, just fold the blanket and take that behind the backs of the heels. Then, when you're in this squat, you can lean that weight back a little bit more, and I'm off of my knees. Really important to always try to adjust the body for its limitations. If the heels don't lift, that's okay. But I don't want to sacrifice the knees because of another body part not doing its job. So sometimes I have to find just ways to make it work in my body. So if your heels are down, press your heels down and start to lift the body up a little bit. And maybe the toes start turning a little forward. Think about lifting the chest. We're going to get length here, and pull the pubic bone forward. So it's kind of like I'm tucking my tailbone underneath. Lifting up as much as you can, and just hold here for a breath or two. And when you're ready, slowly allow yourself to come down. Round your back a little bit, and maybe walk the hands back, find the bottom towards the earth. Extend the legs forward. I'm going to take those blocks away for a moment and shake out your legs. We are going to need both blocks today. So we're going to come into our supported fish pose. So I want you to grab onto your block, and one block is going to be facing this direction. Another block is going to look like this. This block is going to be right where the ribs meet. So it's at the bottom of the bra line, but I always say where the rib cage meets, which is where the sternum is. So right here at the base of your sternum is where this block is going to be behind. So I'm going to kind of lower back down and just make sure you take a moment that it's placed under. This one's going to be 1 degree higher. So this is a nice opening for the back. I'm opening the shoulders, and I want you to bring your arms slightly out so your chest expands and opens. Now, if you can, bring the bottom of your feet together. And for some of you, this is too much for your knees or your hips, and if you don't have another set of blocks, you can try to cross the ankles. Sometimes that narrows the stance, or just extend the legs forward, even knees slightly up, maybe the toes out. That's a little harder in the back though, so I'd almost rather have your legs a little straighter. But if you can, come into, and sometimes this is also called Supta Baddha Konasana, so reclining cobbler pose. And just allow your chest to open and start to let your body come back into this state of relaxation. And this is a little bit of a back bend, which is really nice. So it's kind of decompressing the lower back and allowing for a little bit of opening in space. It's going a little bit more in sync with the S curve of the body. Maybe a little over accentuation. But see if this feels good for you. And just breathe. See if you can open your lungs a little bit more by breathing a little deeper into your chest, and feel the back of your chest press into the blocks. The back of the ribs really open. It causes the front of the ribs to open a little bit more. Relax the arms as much as you can. Get the shoulders in a comfortable, relaxing state. Let the face relax. And sometimes it feels as though your face is just being pulled down a little unattractively, but very comfortably. And just staying here for about 3 more really good breaths. When you're ready, I want you to walk your feet out. So your feet come to the edges of your mat. Make sure your pinky toes touch the very edge. Start to roll your knees over to one side, doesn't matter which one, and lift the block out from under your back. Now I'm going to lower down, bring the knees back up, and then let the head gently come out. And just allow your body to rebound here for a moment. Try to press the whole back down. And so the back is comfortably connected to the earth. Now, if you need something under your head, you can always take your blanket. Make sure it's something that isn't going to elevate your head too much. And we're going to find our happy baby, and maybe just grabbing onto the sides of the legs. You can hold in here. You can grab onto the calves. I want you to try to get your feet so they face up. Sometimes I have students that they're pulling on their ankles, but they're very open in the hips and they're not allowing for some expansiveness on the inside. You know, getting the inside to pull back together, because the inside has been pushing to the outside and it ends up causing a lot of problems. So see, can you get your knees to face right to the very edge of your ribs? Feet up. You might be able to grab onto the feet. If you can't, grab onto the calves, the thighs, and allow the feet to face up. Try to keep pushing the lower back down. If it feels comfortable, you can move a little side to side, kind of pulling one knee down and then the other. Kind of massaging into the backs of the kidneys. This is great to do at the end of the class because I find it always helps me kind of eliminate a little bit better after class. So kind of massaging into the kidneys. When you're ready, just grabbing onto your knees and pulling your knees right into the center of the chest. Notice if there's tension or stress in one hip more than the other. Press your right knee over your left and just pull your knees right in. Maybe that's enough. You can keep walking the hands and giving yourself little pulls down. Try to keep the knees hugging towards the chest. So if I'm doing this, it kind of defeats the purpose, and this is just hard on the knees. Pull the knees to the ribs. Keep that tension of the knees. Then, as you walk down the shins, you're going to notice that you're feeling a lot of pulling around the hips, but not pain in the knees. Flex the feet, and then just maybe again, roll a little side to side, like a wave in the ocean. When you're ready, undo your knees, and this time your left knee comes over your right. Pull your knees into the center of your ribs. Get down low. Take your hands and grab onto your shins and start to walk your shins in a little bit more, keeping the tension of the knees into the ribs. Flex the feet. Maybe move a little side to side. Be careful not to grab the ankles. I grab the ankles, I kind of torque the ankles, and I'm not getting the hips. I kind of lose where my stretch is. And when you're ready, unfurl the knees. Place the left knee down. Right ankle is going to come over. And just push the right knee away from you. Now I'm going to walk the left foot until it comes off my mat. And then just let both knees kind of gently gravitate over towards the right side. If you can, reach your left arm up, and then maybe the right arm comes up. Use your left arm, pull onto the right hand, and kind of pull your body just a little towards the left side. Coming back to the center, undo your knees one at a time. Bring your back in. Let's give ourselves a little bit of a bridge lift. So just a tiny one. Press and squeeze your thighs. If this is hurting your head, take that towel, blanket, whatever you have, pillow underneath your head out, and press the hips up. Squeeze the glutes just a little bit. Press into your big toes. Squeeze your inner thighs. Maybe the shoulder blades walk a little closer together. And lengthen your neck. Lengthen your chin. Chin away from the chest. And pull your shins forward as you pull your ears back. Take your tongue to the roof of your mouth and pull the roof of your mouth towards your head, and pull your shins and your knees in the opposite direction. When you're ready, lower your back from the upper to the lower. And then if you want to grab that blanket, you can take that back underneath. And this time I'm going to flex the left foot and push the left knee away from you. Walk the right foot away. So walk it off the mat. And then allow the knees to just gently migrate over towards the left side. Right hand reaches out a little bit. Left arm might follow, and maybe the right hand gently grabs on. If that hurts the shoulders, don't do it. So you can bend your arms or keep your arms in cactus, or maybe even just hands in towards your heart. And just pull your arms and your ribs in opposition from your knees. When you're ready, bringing your legs back in. Take your lower back to the earth. Grab onto your knees and just start to roll everything out. And go the other direction. And then see, can you move your knees? And just move your knees in different directions. I'm going to roll a few times up and down on my spine. And then when you're ready, just lower into your Shavasana. And allowing yourself to relax, allowing the arms to relax, the fingers to relax. Notice how very different your body might feel from where it started. And just noticing even so that energy So our energy has a mood, and when we start tapping into the mood of our energy, we know how to direct it. If I notice the energy inside is fearful, is sad, is angry, I know the things that I can do to counteract that are things that I enjoy, things that make me happy, things that make me feel safe. And so getting less in touch with the moods of the brain, rather starting to connect to the moods of my energy. Because I might not necessarily be in a bad mood, but I feel that my energy is off. And if I know my energy is off, I have to do something to counteract that, which is doing the things that bring you the most amount of joy. Safety. Sometimes taking a nap when nothing else works. Just disconnecting for a little bit. Meditation. Playing a song or music that brings and makes your heart sing. But tapping into the energy in your body. And the more I can be aware of that, the easier my life will be. Everything is about perception, how we perceive our lives. It's not that we're not going to go through hard times or struggles, but how I perceive myself inside those struggles. If I look at something as the worst in my life, then I'm going to fight what is. And fighting what is takes so much energy and so much time. Instead of sometimes just saying to yourself, I don't understand why this is happening. I don't necessarily understand what its purpose is, but I accept that life loves me, and therefore whatever is happening to me is for not my greatest good, my greatest happiness, my greatest prosperity, my greatest joy. Sometimes the things that are going on in my life I don't understand. And sometimes the bad things happen for me to have greater joy, greater safety, greater prosperity. And so we've been dealing with a situation where a creditor was charging us a large amount of money every month, and we had canceled this membership. And it's taken about 3 months, and there's a large amount of money that is owed back. And right now, my boyfriend is going through lower business, but he's getting this credit back right at the needed time. So even though we've gone through this struggle for the last couple of months, it was for our greater joy and happiness. And sometimes I can't see why the things I deem as bad are happening, and they're not bad. I just don't understand that life is helping me save for a rainy day. And so again, don't try to understand everything that happens. Just know in your heart, everything that happens in my life happens for my greatest joy. And if I know that, I can accept every moment as it is without resistance. And life becomes very simple. Resistance is what causes us pain. And so, thank you so much for practicing and playing with me today. I pray and hope you have a day of non-resistance. Namaste.